Hello, and welcome to another episode. A very, very, very important episode. An episode that's had me up all night. I woke up at 5:45 Pacific time. It is now 8:01 Pacific time on Sunday, September 10th, 2023. And we have special guest Doug, and we have a very big day. What's today, Doug?
Today's football day. Today's football day.
Today's football. It's finally here.
Hi guys, I'm Doug, and God, yeah, it's a good day.
Good day.
It's a good day to have beer. It's week 1 of the NFL. In case you're watching this in December, because I know you are. Holy shit! And I'm gonna be on this all day. And I gave you a preview in the text thread. But fuck off all these off-season opinions. They go away today, right?
Today.
All the things we're wrong about, we're going to find out. Finally.
Today.
So anyway, I'm going to have a beer. Josh, it is great to have you here. I'm going to let you talk in a second, but I got to do this fucking bit, Tools. Let's talk about tools. I've never picked one up in my life, but I know a good one when I've tasted one, and that's Industrial Arts. They make some cool, good beers. Wrench, tools of the trade. There's power tools. It's all a bunch of hazy bullshit, but it's from Beacon, New York, and I love Beacon, New York. Shout out. So cheers, fellas. I'm going to have the tools of the trade because I am a tool when it comes to making trades. How about that?
I think that's not true. That would be the other gentleman that's joining us today. Wait, hold on. Let me introduce you before you start talking.
Anyway, Mike, it's a little early. Are you drinking?
I am drinking coffee.
You Irish it up a bit, maybe?
No. We had our company picnic and my brother-in-law's 17th birthday yesterday. I was given the green light to not have to drive home from dinner because I had quite a few drinks. So
say no more.
And I have the green light today to go watch football all day from 10 a.m. until 1 p.m. The only thing that sucks is these guys aren't playing today. Yeah. So only thing I'm going to be doing is watching my fantasy league scores and hopefully beating you, which we'll talk about a little later.
How many?
But before we get 5, but we'll talk about that a little later too. Let's talk about our very special guest who's been a big proponent of the show, our number one fan.
Oh my God, yes.
Finally, on every live stream. I think the only person that actually watches the show. But
him and Hobie.
That's great. No, it's Jed. Jed just has 3 different ways of watching the show. He was supposed to be here today, but he's in Chicago eating sausages and beef sandwiches and whatever else you do in Chicago. But we don't want to talk about Jed. We want to talk about Joshua Rosenstein. Joshua Rosen, not the fucking failed quarterback from 7 different franchises.
No, but this Josh looks a lot better right now. I'm willing to bet.
Josh looks a lot better. Josh, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Yes, I've been watching since the beginning. I remember when you guys were testing, still in the experimental phase for the pod, and Mike sent me a link that was maybe a year ago, I'd say, and I got to listen to that experimentation while I was making dinner, and I was super excited. It's kind of cool. And I'm there when I know you guys are going to be on. If not, I catch up later. But I appreciate you having me on because I love football. And I was up at 5 a.m. this morning because I could never sleep. Before football season.
I was the same way.
Even if we go into a year and I think my team's going to stink,
right?
I still, expectations were 0-0. Let's go. So I'm very excited. And after I finish my coffee, I will be joining you with a new mountain.
No, Josh. That's not how this show works. Guests have to start drinking immediately. So either slam your coffee and open your drink, or you're going to just double fist. Your choice. Let's see.
With the Irishing it up, I thought about doing that. So that's allowed.
You can also just put some Kahlua in there.
That's a new protocol that I don't know about, but you're put into place. I will slam the rest of my coffee and begin.
Mike, was that a good idea?
Yes, we have 55 minutes, and that means Josh We got to get them lubed up by at least the second half of the show. We need the entertainment factor.
So yeah, that's a great point, and I'm going to let Josh talk some more. Josh, you are a Giants fan. We have obviously bonded over the team over the years. Tell us how you became one, and anything you wanted to say about them overall.
I've been a Giants fan since I was little. I know that I was aware of the Giants winning the Super Bowl in the 86-87 season. I don't remember it. I know that I watched it. Everything after that, though, I was old enough to remember. Um, I love that team. And there have been some tough, tough years. And the last decade hasn't been great. But I am super excited about the Brian Dable era. And and I'd love to get into them at some point, and we'll go from there. I think of all my teams, Giants, Mets, Devils, and Knicks, it's Giants by a mile, and then everybody else. So
Of course, I think it's because in this fine country that we call America, it is sacrilege to not be a football fan. And every other sport, there's so many fucking games, right? We talked Doug on this show about there's 162 games before you even get to the postseason in MLB, and it's too many games. 80, 80 or 82 games in basketball, 80 or 82 games in hockey. I can't remember which one has 82 and which one has
It's a
80.
lot, yeah.
And so they become mundane. Half of them run together, and I can't commit half a year to baseball. I can't commit a quarter of a year to watching every regular season basketball or hockey game. Although I try with hockey, but basketball and baseball, I can't. I can't. And so with football, you have 17 games before playoffs, right? 17 games, or it's 17
Yeah,
games
it's
now,
still,
right? Yeah,
for now.
17 games.
It'll be 18
Eight,
soon.
18 weeks, right? Well, still, I mean, two preseason games and 18 games makes sense. So it's it's a fucking holiday. Every Sunday from September till January is a holiday, right? And then now there's Thursdays and Mondays and sometimes Fridays and Saturdays or whatever the fuck else. But my point is Sunday is a holiday, right? And it's your favorite because you grew up and you went to school Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, whatever you did on Saturday in the fall, you went pumpkin picking or like drank pumpkin spice lattes or whatever. And then on Sunday, you rested and you sat in front of your television, at least in my home, and you watched football
Yep.
with your family. And in my home, we were Jewish. My father would go to Gold's Deli in Westport, and he would get a spread. He would get like pastrami and roast beef and corned beef and rye bread and knishes and pickles and whatever. And we would just eat and graze all day and watch the Giants. Usually, well, first we'd watch the Jets because they were always on at 1 o'clock because they always stunk. And then the Giants came on at 4 because we
Madden and
were,
Summerall, 4 p.m.
yes, yes,
CBS.
exactly. Yep. And by that point, I had enough pastrami to clog one artery at 8 years old. And I got to watch football all day with my family. And that to me is why it is, it's the most important of the sports, right? And you can't get it anywhere else. They've tried to replicate it in Europe and other places, but
Yeah.
there's nowhere else that has a professional league like the United States of America, right? So, anyway,
Well
America.
said. Cheers, brothers.
cheers. I've finished
And
my coffee, so now I'm ready.
Okay,
No
what are you
one,
drinking, Josh?
no one on the show has ever had a mimosa, right? It's Sunday.
Not true. We've had
yeah, I think we
multiple
did it. We did one
mimosas.
of those first morning show,
We've
maybe.
done multiple mimosas,
Yeah.
but
Well,
you are the first guest to have a mimosa,
Mm,
so
yes.
you have that distinction.
And it's a fine choice.
Yeah,
today I'll be
Doug made some
very.
crazy mimosa
Oh, yeah.
concoction one
I was
day.
getting silly with the Chambord that time.
Yes, it was, and there
And
was like, but
and the
wasn't there like
Cointreau.
hemp? There was
Yeah.
like some hemp in
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Like, then you do like a
The CBD seltzer.
weed. Yeah, you did
Yeah.
like a CBD like margarita mimosa
Margarita.
one morning. Yeah,
Yep.
Nice.
yes.
Well,
So
That
today
was
will
Cinco de
be
Mayo, I think.
I think it was. I think that is correct.
today's going to be a new mountain mimosa, a little different on
Okay.
it. It's what you do in the woods up here in Bear Country. So you take normally, mimosas probably about 80% champagne, 20% orange juice. But the thing is,
Okay.
the new mountain mimosa is 100% beer, and so today I'm going with the Prestige, which is from Medusa Brewing, out
You
of
tricked us, Josh.
Yeah.
I really thought you were gonna have a mimosa.
It's a hazy IPA with grapefruit. If you're going to have a fruit in your beer, make it citrus.
Yeah.
Citrus is the only way to go.
I mean, if you
Is
have to, but yes.
is there
Yeah.
any other fruit that you put in a beer? Like, do
No,
people
there
put
are
like?
Cherry wheat.
companies
Oh,
Remember
oh,
that
Sam
shit?
Adams. I do remember that shit. That was.
That was your sister's go-to, actually.
I think I may have partaken in quite a few of those
Oh
back
yeah.
then when I was fat Mike Curland.
It was buying like honey browns and cherry wheat 6-packs back in the day.
Yep. And then when those woodchuck ciders came out and
Oh
everyone was
god.
like, "Oh yeah, cider beer is so good." Oh, gross. Okay,
Anyway.
Josh. Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, Josh.
All right.
Thanks again for coming on, man.
Gentlemen, let's start this off with
Yeah.
a little bit of Josh's preview of the New
Yeah.
York Football Giants.
Take it
What do you
away,
think,
man.
Josh? Because you listened to last week's show and you called me in disgust. And you were like, I can't believe that Doug picked the Giants to go 7-9 or whatever the
8 and
record
9,
was.
I think.
8-9. I can't believe it. They're definitely going to go like 10-7. What a
Mhm.
bullshit pick. He's
Well, I mean,
fucking.
it's fucking 2 weeks.
Well,
Jeez.
I
Tough
mean,
crowd.
but I know, but he was, Josh is also a homer, and he was like,
He
he's
is.
not a homer. I'm a
And I
homer.
respect that. And I expect it.
Yes. So I would like to give Josh his 5 to 7 minutes of the New York Football Giants season. If you're prepared
Sure.
to go,
Yeah,
let's
I've
go.
got some info.
Do you have
Okay.
the schedule all built out? Do you?
I got
What
it.
positions?
I'll do the shares. Just bear with me.
Okay, so how about this? Why don't I give you the info I have to make my case, and then we can go over the schedule, and I'll make my picks if you want to do it that way.
Do it.
I'll say that Mike is right. I discussed with Mike that I was very upset with Doug, but I also texted Doug to let him know I was unhappy with how he previewed the Giants. So I dug into some statistics, and I'm glad that what I found backed up the argument that I was making before really looking at
Good
the
job
exact
stalling. I can't fucking get there, but I'm getting there.
It's
Jesus.
okay. So the main thing that we were talking about last week that I had an issue with was
I
the
hate
offense.
this browser, man. All right. So anyway, go ahead.
The offense, okay? We know
Yeah.
there's a lot of haters out there. There's a lot of people that don't believe in Daniel Jones. Obviously, I believe in Daniel Jones. I drafted him in the 6th round this year after I missed out on Joe Burrow.
I mean, that's also because you had like one pick before the 6th round. So,
yeah, but the thing was, I could have taken him or Gino, the next
Josh, you have to drink.
4.
Your
Oh,
cat
cat.
is in. If your cat comes in,
Okay.
yes.
Pepper's going to come over and give her picks and probably jump on his shoulder. All right, so here we go. So the offense for last year. Now, we all need to pay attention and keep in mind the fact that we had no receivers. None. We had no receivers, and our offensive line was crap. But
yes.
when you look back at the offense from last year, we were 16th in total points. So the halfway mark of the league, that's great. We were 18th.
I don't know if that's
Yeah.
great. It's
great
average.
Great.
Great is doing a lot of lifting there.
Here comes the homer.
Okay.
We were mediocre in the we were middle of the pack.
I will
and that
say
was
for the
great.
Giants in the last decade, that is fucking great, by the way.
It is
I mean,
great.
based on keep going. I don't want to cut you off.
Like since the Super Bowl year.
You were going to give me the floor. It's great in context.
I mean, that's what we do, Josh. We're gonna make fun of you for the
Right.
stupid shit you say, right? So keep going.
16th in total points, 18th in total yards. We were
Which was amazing.
We were. It's getting better. We were 8th in first downs, 8th in total first downs. Pretty good.
I would think that would be a negative
deceptive.
if you were 8th in first downs and you were 16th in total points. It means you're not converting in the red zone. Oh,
yeah,
Doug,
you're not moving the ball well. You're not busting any plays.
My next stat supports being 8th.
Doug, you have to drink.
Yeah.
One of the cats was, I don't know which cat that is.
So we were also 13th in the total number of plays,
which is dynamic.
Well, the thing was, without receiving core,
next level,
you're going to be inefficient in the red zone without receiving core, and that's what happened. So we were 26th in passing yards, which was terrible, obviously. but fourth.
Which was next generational. That was a generational offensive output from our receiver, which supports why Daniel Jones is why you took him in the 6th round. Totally understand.
That's a guy you got to lock up. I mean, he's 26 in the league in passing yards. You want to?
I'm sorry. I will be quiet. I'm having too
Yeah,
much
I
fun.
wouldn't have mentioned that one. I would have left that one out.
Well, see, I'm presenting an open and honest argument.
Yeah, okay.
There's a
I
comma.
respect-
There's a comma after 26 in passing yards. We were 4th in rushing yards,
yeah,
4th in total
they can
rushing
run.
yards, 4th in rushing touchdowns, and 4th in rushing yards per game. And
Yes.
we were 31st in the league in turnovers. 31st.
Yeah. No, God,
Right?
he has come such a long way, right, Jones?
You
Right.
mean
For
31st,
that.
like in a good way? Like
In a
you
good
had
way.
the second least turnovers. Okay.
Least amount of turnovers. Now, in the draft, 2 notables. John Michael Schmitz,
Yeah.
who was arguably the best center in the draft. Looking forward to him. He's going to help our line. Jalen Hyatt, the Bolitnikoff winner in 22. So whether he's going to be great, do I expect him by next year to be 1,100 yards? Probably not, but he'll stretch the field, which is going to help us out.
Yeah.
And we had the now injured Darren Waller, which is terrible. That just came down. If you
He's
didn't know.
playing though, just so you know. He's playing tomorrow.
I thought
tonight.
this series playing.
But no one
He's-
wanted to see that he has a hamstring issue.
Yeah, that
And,
sucks, man.
We added Paris Campbell, and I think Paris Campbell is underrated.
He is.
He's a good receiver, and this is something that you guys might blow your mind. Isaiah Hodgins. Okay, last year he ran only 108 routes. Okay, this was, even though it was his 3rd year in the league, it was his first real experience getting on the field. So Isaiah Hodgins last year in win rate versus man coverage and route win rate, he was number 1 in the league. Number 1 in the league. So all those times he was catching balls and we were like, wait, can this guy play? The stats show that he knows how to run routes and he can get open, and Jones can find him. And in 2019 at Oregon State, he had 1,171 yards and 13 touchdowns with a 30.7% target share. So in his last year in college, he was used and he was productive.
Yeah, he was the alpha there.
Right. So he can be our number 1 this year.
Can I ask you a question, or you want to keep going?
Sure.
So in terms of the wide receivers, do you have a feel on who's in who's going to be the 2 starters, then who's going to be in the the 11 when 3 come out, or you know what I'm talking about? Like, is it going to be a mess like Kansas City on Thursday night where guys are rotating in and out, or is it going to be Campbell on the field a lot, Hodgins on the field a lot?
I don't think it's going to be a mess. I think on the outside, I think it's going to be Hodgins,
Slayton,
Hodgins and Slayton and Campbell,
and Hyatt,
on
right?
the inside, right, and on the inside, we have Wandell coming back, and
Right.
I think Wandell's going to be good for us.
And Sterling.
Did he win? Oh, and you still have Sterling Shepard. So that's your.
Yeah, no,
those
it's
are your
just like
6.
a lot of dudes. I'm just wondering how that shakes out, in your opinion.
And do any of those guys play special teams, or do you have 6 legit
Shepard's
wide
the backup
receivers?
punt returner, which scares the hell out of me.
But who, so, most of the time you got your 3 guys that are starting, right? Your 4th guy may or may not play some special teams, and your 5th and 6th guy do play special teams. But from what you just said to me, like, I don't know, does Slayton play special teams? I doubt it.
No,
Does Wandell play special teams?
no,
Right. So that's a lot of receivers that
right.
Nobody really knows who the fuck is doing what, right?
Right.
Like, there's no clear cut, and I guess that's fine for competition, but that
Yeah, it's
scares
not
me from
necessarily a
a
bad thing.
roster standpoint. You're right.
Well, I think there's some feeling out, but I think the main takeaway here is that there's a lot more talent this year.
Yes.
And Jones he's been a very high completion quarterback. He was 67.2% last year, which was good for 5th best in the league in completion percentage. And
which you have to give Dayball so much credit for turning that guy into a starting caliber NFL quarterback and playing to his strengths. Yeah. Again, I don't know how you get, and I want to pose this question. I've asked Doug and Josh. I don't want to cut you off, but I want to get your opinion on this. We talked a lot on the show over the offseason, which is fucking over. that are we going to sign Daniel Jones long term and franchise Barkley? Are we going to franchise Jones and sign Barkley? What are you going to do? And it was played out the way that we thought it would, but that doesn't mean that Doug was necessarily keen on giving a long term deal to Daniel Jones. But you kind of had to,
It's all
right?
right.
So I want your take on it, Josh. Like, what do you feel about the four
So
year commitment?
I going into it, I really did want to sign Jones long term. I think his yearly salary, I think he got like 36 or 37, something like that for 4 years. I think that was a little higher than I was hoping for.
Right.
Originally, before the offseason, I was like, man, I hope he takes, 100 million 4 years, 25 per. And that was completely unrealistic. But I'm glad we signed him because you know what? I think 2 years of that is the real contract. And I think
Yeah.
we had to do that because
Yeah.
if we didn't do that, what else were we going to do?
Right.
We don't want to franchise him and just let's show him support. The team showed them support, the organization showed him support, and see what he's going to do. And last year, this is a huge thing. Do you know he was tied for second in the league in game-winning drives with 5? So not only was his completion percentage good, and he didn't have any receiving core,
Yeah.
they had 5 game-winning drives.
Yeah, man.
Well, that also shows that the Giants were playing a lot of close games, right?
They were, but they
So,
were an incredible second half team last year. Like that's when all the magic was happening. If anybody, like they weren't getting out into to huge leads, right? They were wearing teams down.
except
Not
for
at
against the
all.
Vikings in the playoffs.
Oh yeah,
And he was dealing with, dude, he got sacked 44 times last season, which was
yeah,
fifth overall. So the thing is, if this guy Michael Schmitz works out, and now we have Thomas at left tackle, he's locked up and
locked in.
arguably the best left tackle in the league. And now we have Neal at
Year
right
two,
tackle. Year 2 should be better. I think our guards are pretty good. I'm a little scared about the offensive line, but I think now with Wandell healthy and with Barkley coming back, he could take dump offs. I think we're going to move the ball. I think I'm very excited about it. I
yeah.
really am.
I mean your guys's offense is like a replication of the Bills' offense, obviously, right? With Dayball
Smaller
coming over
scale,
there,
but yeah,
and he has turned Daniel Jones into a smaller scale version of Josh Allen, right? I don't know if Daniel has as big of an arm as Josh Allen does, but he definitely has gotten him to start running more than he did originally
yeah,
and
Yeah.
getting rid of the ball quickly. Because if you remember when Josh Allen first came out, the big knock on him is his accuracy was garbage. He could run, and
oh
he's a
yeah,
gigantic guy that can run, but he had a cannon for an arm, but he just couldn't, make the easy passes and whatnot. Now he's obviously become a Pro Bowl quarterback and able to do all the things that he needs to do. So the fact that that's your offense now, and you have the running back in place in Barkley that's back to his otherworldly form, and you have some. I mean, you talked about your receiving core being better. The jury's still out from a non-Giants fan. I think Jalen Hyatt could develop into something, but he's a third round pick, you know, pretty much a deep threat at this point, and Wandell is a
I mean,
slot guy, right? So you guys have high hopes for them,
you're
but they
you're
but
right.
they haven't proven anything yet. Hodgins has half a year of uh, doing something, so let's see if he can replicate it. Slayton has always had hands of stone. Shepard can't keep his ACL intact,
yeah.
and
Look,
am I
Mike,
missing one other
there's
guy?
no digs here yet. There's no alpha dog yet.
Yeah, no.
We're building some nice depth though.
Yeah, for sure.
And
I'm not.
and
I'm
like
just. I'm just
like
worried that.
Waller's the number one. If he's hurt
Right.
though, this group
That's a
is
problem.
might have some trouble. Josh, if you don't mind, I did think of 3 things I want to key on for this season this
Yeah.
morning. Let me get them out real quick, and then you can keep going. But and by the way, the Waller thing is probably number 4. I wasn't really thinking about that.
Okay.
What was I going to say? Okay, so you already mentioned Neal. Neal progressing is my first one. Definitely want to see that. You know who else I want to see not progress but be healthy? Number 2, Ojulari on the other side of Tibbs. If he could stay healthy all year, that is a nasty front line. Nasty.
Yes. Yes.
And number 3, if Deontay Banks can at least be a number 2 and run with guys and just be a good player this year, that's a damn good defense all of a sudden.
Our defense And it was bend but don't break last year.
Right.
We gave up a lot of yards,
But with
we
a bunch
gave
of
up a
like
lot of first
cast
downs.
offs.
Yeah, we gave up a lot of
Yeah.
yards, a lot of first downs, but we did a lot of really good things.
It was
And the
like,
lineup is great this year.
Yeah.
And what Mike doesn't know, I'm sure, Doug, I've already discussed this with you, is we have the best nose tackle in the league,
right.
Dexter Lawrence. And, Dave Gettleman, I've given him a lot of grief. I've called him every name in the book,
Yeah.
Kettle hummus and all that stuff. But
You and me both.
this stat I learned from Brett Coleman, and if anyone watching or listening doesn't know
Respect to Brett.
look up Brett Coleman online. Last name Kollman. He is awesome at creating NFL content, and he really knows his stuff. And the NFL is actually catching on now and hiring him to do things.
Yeah, I hope he's making money. He's
Bro.
he puts his life into that shit. So. Jesus, sorry.
Yeah, Coleman's
cat attack
now. And one thing that he studied the nose tackles in the league because he wanted to look into Dexter Lawrence. So as far as QB pressures last year for nose tackles,
Dude, let me ask one question because I know Wink Martindale is your D coordinator. Are you guys running a 3-4 now? Is that
yes,
okay?
We run a 3-4.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so with Dexter Lawrence last year, so you look at a big stat with nose tackles. Are they getting to the quarterback, or are they just a big dude in the middle stopping runs? Dexter Lawrence last year had 43 QB pressures. 43. The second nose tackle, there were two guys in the league, tied for second place, had 12.
Yeah,
12.
He's a freak at that position. Absolute
More
freak.
than tripled the QB pressures.
Yep.
So Dave Gettleman has made some really good picks now in retrospect. I'm glad he's
hell, like Leonard Williams is still in there too. That's Gettleman.
Yeah, and so the line, like our D line this year, so we're starting Lawrence, Leonard Williams, and Ashawn Robinson. Robinson's whatever, but we've got guys to back up Robinson.
No, he's good depth. We didn't have that last year.
And our inside linebackers, we have Bobby Okereke, who's now going to be the play quarter.
Upgrade.
Micah McFadden. Our outside linebackers are Kayvon Thibodeau, who should be better this year. And I don't care that dude, have you seen his outfits? They're kind of crazy.
I love Tibbs.
We have Azeez Ojulari. And then our corners, we have Adoree Jackson, we have Deontay Banks, arguably top two at cornerback, who in the first two games of preseason, I know this, gave up 0 completions to his receivers that he was covering. And then we have Xavier McKinney and Jason Pinnock at start.
Yeah, like we haven't even mentioned McKinney. That's a good defense.
Yeah, it's a good defense.
And Pinnock really, really progressed.
Yeah.
He was a waiver cast off last year. So let's roll, baby. And look,
let's
go ahead. Let's go.
No,
but like beat the Cowboys. If they're still outclassed by the Cowboys tonight, 8-9. Maybe.
And I'll say that too, Doug. If you're playing Dallas at home.
Yeah, this is huge.
On Sunday Night Football.
Statement.
If you can't, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be great this year. They're transitioning from Zeke to Pollard at running back, which actually may be an upgrade. They have a new offensive coordinator that they blamed everything on last year, right? Kellen Moore. He was the fucking fall guy, right? And then it's funny that the Chargers snatched him up within 30 seconds. McCarthy.
Chargers going to Charger.
I mean, talking about teams with bad offensive coordinating. But so then you got Dak, who's still there, who led the league in interceptions last year. You got a new tight end. They got Brandon Cooks and CeeDee Lamb on the outside, and they got Tony Pollard. Their offensive line is
getting old.
It's getting old, but it's still better.
It's still solid,
decent. Yeah. And their defense, I don't know. They got Diggs, but he's a great ball hawk, but he's not a great coverage guy.
Parsons is a pretty damn good player. So
Mike Parsons is an otherherworldly player.
Diggs, their cornerback, has 17 interceptions in the last 3 years.
Yeah, Diggs is a ball.
He also gets beat. Look it up.
Yeah, he
see
does.
how many touchdowns he's given up.
He gets beat.
But I think at home, if you got to Doug's point, and it is opening week, so we're not going to judge the whole season by opening.
No.
But if you wanna talk about being the cream of the crop or second, at least wild card contender, you got to beat Dallas. You got to beat Dallas at home.
I
right?
agree, and you and Doug brought it up. I can look at all these stats and be very positive, but I am still very concerned and anxious about tonight against
Yeah,
Dallas.
I am too.
Glad that we're at home, and like I told Doug, I think if we can go 2-2 against the Eagles and Cowboys this year, I'll be very happy.
Oh
Do I
God,
think
yeah.
it's going to happen?
But that means you
Sure,
probably have to
not
sweep the
sure.
Cowboys because
Right.
I don't see you beating the Eagles at
We played
all. The
the Eagles
Eagles
the
are
last week.
unless the Eagles run into like some sort of injury, bug.
Yeah,
That team went to the Super Bowl last year and probably should have won. They
Oh
I
yeah, yeah.
mean the D coordinator who's now the coach of the Cardinals, who's an idiot, literally said the other day, "I'm the reason that we lost the Super Bowl," and he's not wrong. They
Dude,
were
like that's an obvious tank job out there, huh?
oh
Did,
yeah,
did you
they're
see his
starting
intro, that embarrassing intro video he did with the players?
no.
Oh God, look it up if you haven't. Um,
He's starting Josh Dobbs.
yeah,
We talked about this a little last week because somehow this is our year Arizona version,
yeah, right.
and I don't understand. I mean, I do understand they're tanking, right? But you had Colt McCoy. You could have just tanked with him. I
Yeah.
guess this guy wants to run. Maybe Dobbs is more of a Jalen Hurts type, which is fine. But
You see,
I
Caleb
don't know.
Williams is like, yeah, I might stay in school,
I mean, that's
depending on the
bullshit.
team. And
That's
no, but that's
horseshit.
definitely about Arizona, right?
Yeah, of course. Well,
Anyway,
Arizona
sorry.
thinks they can trade Kyler, and you know what? They'll be if they finish last, they will be able to trade Kyler. They'll get another first round pick at least, and they'll fucking draft Caleb Williams, and it'll be
listen,
great.
if Arizona, who we all know is tanking hard, if Caleb Williams stays in school, that is good for Michael here because he picked up Kyler Murray off waivers,
Oh,
and
right.
it might be a piece that you can keep. So that was a good pickup.
Thank you.
Um,
I
but
think
I
that's a
will
good
say
segue, Joshua.
one
Maybe we
thing.
should. Maybe we should. Do we want to do like your prediction overall, and then we can talk a little fantasy football?
How about this? I'll just give you overall 10-7.
Okay.
But
No,
how?
no, I like it. But God, please win tonight. I'm
Yes,
right with you, brother.
let's win tonight. I think
Yeah.
10-7. I
But
think
why?
every
I want to
tonight.
know why do you think 10-7? Because your schedule is not easy. So
No,
talk to me about 10-7. How? Where is that happening? Let's
I will.
give the fans what they
Arizona,
want.
there's one.
There's
Okay.
one.
Do
So
we want
so
to
you're
go right
good.
down
So
the
you're gonna
list?
beat Dallas tonight, right?
So
That's
we're
what you're
starting 2
saying.
and 0, right?
Let's beat Dallas tonight because
Beat
I'm
Dallas
gonna
tonight.
I'm
Go
to
to
two.
Arizona. Beat Arizona.
Yep.
San Francisco
No.
loss.
Yes.
Seattle at home
Win.
The
win.
return of Gino. Let's get him.
hmm
Miami on the road.
Tough. If Terran Armstead, their left tackle's out, win. If not, I would chalk it up to a loss. Let's put it as let's make it a loss. Let's make it a loss. So that'll be
Yeah, that's
three
what
Yeah,
I
you're
did
3 and
too.
2. Buffalo at Buffalo.
loss.
That's
Oof.
Dayball's return home. You're not gonna give
Night
him any
game.
credit, huh?
Wait, we have
Well,
a
that's
lot of
Okay,
night games.
win. But you know what? We're not going 14-3 this year. So we're
so
going to win.
3 and 3 after Buffalo. Then you're going to play Washington at home. What's that?
Yes, we're winning. We're beating Washington at home.
Okay, 4 and 3. Jets at home.
This got to be a dub, right?
I no, I'm going to say that's a loss.
Okay, we're 4 and 4 going to Vegas. What are we doing in Vegas?
We're beating Vegas. There's
5
no
and 4 going to Dallas. 5 and 4. What are we doing in Dallas?
in Dallas we're losing.
Oh
Five
wow.
and 5 going to Washington. What are we doing in Washington?
We are winning.
6 and 5 home to New England.
We are winning.
7 and 5 bye week. Then home to Green Bay.
Winning.
Another prime time.
8 and 5 at New Orleans.
Losing.
8 and 6 at Philadelphia.
Losing.
8 and 7 at home versus the Rams.
Winning.
And better win that.
9 and 7 going into the last game at home against the Eagles.
There
Winning.
it is. He's predicting
Josh
to
is
win.
predicting
I like it.
a
The
I mean,
W
you kind of had
against
to, but
right.
The Eagles will be resting guys, and we'll be fighting for a playoff spot. Winning.
You don't. Yeah.
fair.
Okay. I mean, it's not out of
It's fair.
it's not
Yeah,
out
yeah.
of the realm. Like I think they could go anywhere from 7-9 to 7-9 to 7-10 to 10-7. So yeah, I think it's a good one, Josh.
And
And I'm
honestly,
glad you.
like look at it this way: we were supposed to suck ass last year,
Yep.
and then be like 8 and 9 this year.
Dude, when we did our
It's a
season preview last year,
oh
because
god,
we've
yeah,
been doing it this long, I mean, we thought you guys were going to be like 4-13 last year.
3 and 14. I think I
Yeah, we
picked.
thought you guys were going to be talking about having the number one pick this year
I
and tanking
agree.
for like Bryce Young, and look at where you are.
I think I picked
So
games last year as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
it wasn't looking great.
no,
so
So
let's segue into the fun part of the show. And Josh, have you finished your first beer? Because if you haven't, you need to. Let's segue into. That's
I
not
do
even
too,
a
I guess.
half. Can you slam, please? Let's Doug. Let's pull up some rosters here. Let's pull up.
Which league? The home league, right?
Let's just do our league. Let's not do the dynasty league because then we'll be here
Yeah,
forever.
right.
Let's just talk about our home
All
league where
right.
Josh is the reigning champion, first time ever in the
He
18-year
is.
history. He
Respect
is.
here. Cheers to you,
Respect.
sir.
So
thank
I
you.
think in the spirit of what we want to do here, we probably need to take a look at Josh's team.
We're
Let's look
going
at
Josh
Josh's team
first.
first, right? We got to give the champ his due.
That's fair.
All right, Josh. So you're rolling with Geno Smith as your starting quarterback, which you picked up late in the draft, right? You were seventh or
Eighth
later.
round, first pick in the eighth.
All right, so that's a guy you can keep.
Mhm.
Ty Chandler is your starting running back, the backup running back for the Vikings.
Not
That's
good. Not
that's
good.
not I.
Not ideal.
I would say that's not ideal. David
Well,
Montgomery was your first pick overall in the draft.
And it's looking
And
very
he
good.
was, yeah, he had a great first week. He got 21 carries and,
Let's talk about the
looking
Lions for a second,
looking good.
man.
Let's talk about the
I
Lions.
think that I was right about like the Kansas City defense getting exploited, but I kind of forgot that's a running team. Right, Montgomery's going to put up a ton of points this year.
tons.
I know Jameer Gibbs kind of didn't get any touches, like kind of slow debut, right? But he'll be a weapon too.
He
Seeing him
did.
dan-
He actually, let's talk about that for a second because
seeing
he
him
was on my
dance
team.
around, right, reminded me of young Le'Veon. I just want to get that out there. Like same,
He
like similar type
he
of
had
player.
a touchdown. Gibbs had a touchdown and he got fucking tackled by the turf monster. He was
Oh
fucking
yeah, no, I remember
he
that. He had a
broke to the outside.
clear
He
shot.
was clear shot
Well,
to the corner,
He did.
and he tripped over his own 2 feet. And I
Yep.
was watching that from the restaurant bar with my wife, and I was the only one that cared about the fucking Detroit Lions in Irvine, California. And I was like, God damn it! And everyone just stopped and looked at me, and I was like,
Nice.
fantasy
I didn't.
football
I
guys.
forgot he was on your team against me this week.
Yes.
So
I mean, if
I
I
thought
lose by less than 6, you're welcome. Turf Monster
first
wins
game
wins
jitters.
3. Hey man, but he did look good. He broke more tackles on in the first game than any rookie's ever done in their first game, or some
Yeah,
stupid stat like that.
the Lions look good. Dan Campbell's really. I mean, who knew? He's a coach. I think.
And Jared Goff, he still has. He's about to break the possibly break the fucking
Yeah,
completions without an
third all
interception
time.
record. Yeah, and he looks okay, man. I will say he climbs the
He's
pocket
yeah,
better than he used to, but he still throws fucking wounded ducks, man. I mean,
yeah.
his balls
It's not
look.
great.
It
it's
looks
not.
like me throwing out there. I'm like,
Yeah,
Jesus Christ,
he's
dude! You
had
were
a
the first
weird,
overall
weird
pick.
career. Weird career, right? Because
I mean, he
like
was the first overall pick coming out of
they were
Cal.
nasty in 2018, 2019 in LA, right? Like
Yeah, he
that
took him to the
offense.
Super Bowl, but it
And
was
that offense put up
all.
points.
It was because Todd Gurley was fucking
Well,
nasty.
no, and
And,
Cooper and what's his face, Robert Woods and all those
yep.
guys. That was a fun offense.
The thing
Yep.
with Goff is, no, I agree with both of you. I think, and Doug, I think, you, and as I told you, you should have started Cousins this week. But
Yeah,
anyway,
I
the
wanted to
thing with
play.
Goff, the reason why I can believe in the Lions is because look at their top 3 pass catchers or the top 3 players that can catch the ball within close vicinity to the line.
Yeah,
So you have Amon-Ra St. Brown, which is arguably one of the top 7 wide receivers in the league. He can
yep,
catch it close to the line and yak. All right. You have
right.
this new guy, Jameer Gibbs. This is what he was built for. He's a tiny little dude. He's like, if I was
He's
him,
not tiny though. He's not tiny.
Yeah,
Everyone just calls him
he's
tiny.
about 195 pounds.
he
He's
no, but
not.
he reminds me of Le'Veon, like the build. Like he's a little taller.
He's going to be really good. But, my point is that you could dump it off to him and run slants and
Hmm.
run screens, and he could be great. And then you have Montgomery, who I think Montgomery will have between 12 and 18 rushing touchdowns this year. But I also think that he can catch
in
the
his sleep.
ball. He demonstrated. I liked him coming out of college. He's demonstrated that he can catch the ball as well. You have those three players. Jameson Williams, I don't know that he's ever coming back.
Yeah.
Who knows if he's going to go
But Josh Reynolds looked
Reynolds is
again
good.
another quiet number 2 guy. He's
Yeah.
their big guy, and he had 4 catches for 80 yards.
Solid
And
bet.
you know,
Solid bet. Sorry.
Laporta didn't have a great. Also, another rookie on the at tight end. He didn't have a great showing, but he played solid, and he played 80% of the snaps, like
Yeah,
79%
that's
of the
all you look
snaps.
at, right? The snap count.
Right.
That's
Yep. And he had like 6 targets. I think he had like 3 catches. He didn't do anything great, but he didn't do anything
that's a
bad.
fine debut.
That's
Dude,
a fine debut.
Great debut.
I would be ecstatic if Musgrave does that today.
And that team has a fucking great offensive line, and their defense is very underrated. Very underrated.
It
They're
is.
going to be a problem. They are probably going to win the Central. I can't tell you the last time the Lions won the Central. Probably when Eric Kramer was the quarterback, right?
Right.
Like
Scott Mitchell.
1992. So
Yeah.
so anyway,
But they
good for
really
Detroit.
overhauled their secondary, especially.
Well, hopefully Brian Branch isn't out for an extended period of
Yeah.
time. I haven't looked at his injury report, but he also had a pick 6 and then walked off the field with something that looked like a knee injury later. So
Always
let's keep
great
going,
to see
though.
Andy Reid lose a game on national TV, though.
And look, I don't like Kadarius Toney, but I kind of felt bad for the guy. I mean,
Sure.
clearly he had some jitters going on or something. I know you guys probably hate him, but he definitely
I don't hate the guy. I just
he definitely looks like Willem Dafoe, like the. Think about that.
Sorry, just making out over here.
That's all right. So let's keep going. You got Tyreek Hill as your keeper.
Wait, before we
No-brainer.
brought something up and you gave me a dig on Chandler, I need to point this out. The reason why I have Montgomery as my first running back and Chandler as my second is because I had no picks. I knew that
We talked about that. We talked about that,
Yeah,
but we can still
no
shit on
worries.
your team.
No worries.
Yeah.
We can still shit on your team.
I think Chandler might be better than Madison.
Yeah. No, long term, hell yeah.
I think, he was a good, I think I got him in the 9th round or 10th round or something.
Sure, but you're going to start him over Evan Hull, huh?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Tyreek Hill, great receiver, not tradable. Sky Moore, ugh.
Oh, man.
Ugh, poo garbage.
See, exactly what I'm talking about with the off-season groupthink bullshit. Enough.
I mean, not enough. Unless you're referring to the fact that he underperformed in his first game, because he had like 1 catch for 2 yards.
Why is he lining up on the outside? He wasn't getting any separation. I don't understand what's going on with. I think Andy Reid just hates fantasy players, and they broadcast like certain guys are going to get targets. And
I just think that they like talking about your guys' receiving core. It's the
same thing.
The Chiefs' receiving core is a poo-poo platter.
It's the same thing.
Yeah. And what you saw with Travis Kelce being out is probably, if Darren Waller isn't playing for you guys, it's probably going to be something similar. These guys couldn't get open because what happens is Kelce draws the coverage in the middle of the field, and then they get one-on-one, and they can run fucking different patterns.
No.
There was none of that.
More was smothered.
There our receiving core compared to what's after Kelce in the Chiefs.
Yeah, I'll take the Giants.
I don't think so, man. I think you guys. I think what you're gonna see though is the rookies, Rice, and I think Justin Ross, and even Justin Watson was getting a lot of run, and I think those are going to be your starting.
Richie James,
because that guy is not
former
Giant. Valdez Scantling is probably going to be the deep threat, and that's it.
Yeah.
And we'll see. But I don't know, who cares about the Chiefs. Let's talk about Chris Olave over here.
Oh,
that's good. You got two good receivers and a good running back.
Look. Sky more than Chris Olave. It's last year's DFF draft.
Oh, Doug. That's great. Doug drafted Sky Moore over Chris Olave and
Christian Watson, for the record,
in Dynasty. And Doug started Sky Moore against me in Dynasty and got 0.4 points or some shit. I don't even know.
I think Doug and I did the same thing with Moore. He had this opportunity. This was his opportunity.
Right.
So we needed to start them, to see what's going on. But what people don't talk about, Mahomes made a lot of bad passes.
Yeah, he didn't
A
look
lot
good.
of bad passes to him. No, he didn't look
Yeah.
good at all.
Yeah, you don't know. You're right. It's not like he was dropping balls like Tony. Oh God,
Mahomes
Tony
put the
though.
ball on Tony, who dropped the
Ugh.
ball, I think, 4 times.
Yeah, but
4 times.
Sky
Five.
also. I didn't see anything from Sky. Like no separation. So
I think
it's
he had a
troublesome.
pass thrown to him that was catchable. So either way, it's not a good look, and
Yeah.
he might be in my team for one more week.
He
I mean,
stinks.
I'm going to put him on my bench, but he was definitely the first look a couple of times. But Mahomes was like, no, he's not open, and like immediately went somewhere else. So we'll see. Lockett, or no, you want to talk Juwan or
I
Olave?
you
Olave is awesome.
Olave is awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
Hill and Olave, you did good with your keepers. David Montgomery was a great first pick at the end of the second round. Juwan Johnson is. I'm not going to really shit on him. Tight ends in general are
yeah.
whatever.
He's
If you
he's
don't have,
a third year breakout, and he's got a quarterback now who loves throwing the ball to the tight end.
I just would
Good.
be
That's
really,
fair.
really worried about Jimmy Graham vulturing all the fucking red zone touchdowns.
Well, I'm not one that worries about Jimmy Graham or Michael Thomas. If you want to be
What
on
year
that
is
boat
it?
still, like yeah,
I
Michael
mean,
Thomas is already like partially injured, and he's 50 years old. I mean, who cares?
yes, okay. Hey, I'm not. I'm just pointing out facts, bro. That's all.
I legit had no idea Jimmy Graham was on the Saints, still in the
I
league.
thought he. I
I,
honestly, when he signed with them, I thought it was like the 1 day contract to
yeah,
retire thing.
right.
And then I saw him playing in preseason. I was like, oh, he still plays.
He's
Okay.
brought back to be like a guy who'll get on the field for 15 snaps, and he helps the equipment manager. It's not like a real position. It's not a real contract.
By the way, just watch Derek Carr just absolutely go off now that he's free of the Raiders. That would be funny.
Carr is 2
If it
years.
turns into Breeze too.
2 years. 2 years ago, he threw for 4,500 yards.
Yeah, he could
Carr
play.
is going to go full eye makeup.
Full
And
My
he's
Chemical Romance.
yes, he's going to be the emo QB.
I don't, I don't, I don't know how you deduce that, but hey, that's cool.
Because
Oh
it
no,
looks like
yeah,
he's
you've
wearing
seen the
mascara.
pictures. Like, yeah, it always
Yeah,
looks like he's got the eyeliner on.
he's like wearing mascara all the
Right.
time.
He's
And
a
now
weird.
that he's in New Orleans, like that shit's cool. So he's gonna
Yeah,
come out with like a sleeveless top with like the tassels coming off and like Kiss, like full Kiss makeup, hairband. It's like fuck you. Did you hear who someone was talking shit about the Raiders? And I think it was someone on the Saints to back up Carr, and they were like fuck the Raiders, and they asked him why, and he said because the fucking owner looks like he's got a bowl cut, and he looks like an
Dude,
asshole.
what is up with his haircut? Is he trolling everyone? I don't think so.
No, dude, he was Al
no.
Davis's son.
Yeah.
Grew up a little rich kid that never
Fail
grew up.
sons are fascinating. I
How
want to
does
write a
anyone
book on
in his
all the
life
fail
think that
sons.
how does anyone in his life think that that's a good haircut? It might be the worst haircut on an adult.
He looks like Chucky the doll. He looks like the adult version of Chucky the doll.
Like
Uh,
Lloyd Christmas. No,
no,
if Harry
fat
Dunn
ginger.
had Lloyd Christmas's haircut, how about that?
It makes his head look like a penis head. Like that's the thing. That's the thing, and it just comes out like this.
I don't get it, man. I
Did you
don't
know
know.
that he every day he sits at the bar at PF Chang's for lunch and just eats? Like
I mean,
he's a
I
weird
don't
dude.
doubt it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
The
Yeah.
hookers might be so scared, but they're
I
like, "We'll take
mean,
the money. It's fine."
he's definitely like mid-50s, not married, right? So
Yeah, probably.
I
Dude,
believe hookers living in Vegas. I believe
yeah,
hookers are probably a thing.
yeah. He's
So,
like
It's
fifteen
like the
hundred
real
dollars.
life Billy Madison.
It's fine. It's fine.
so Tyler Lockett, great, guy to have. I probably
Still in the league. I'm kidding.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
just
know. I
fine.
probably would have started
Well,
him over Sky Moore, but I did tell you to start Sky Moore, so I probably wouldn't have
Yeah.
told you to do that. In retrospect, I
Hey,
can't do the
Zay might
retrospect
go
now.
off this year too. I
I
like Zay.
love. Yeah, let's scroll down a little bit here. Cowboys defense, who cares? They should be good. Daniel Jones, okay, you got yourself your Homer Core QB. That could be something. Now I like a little bit of your bench here, buddy.
Oh
Evan
yeah,
Hull,
I
I
love
don't
this
know.
bench.
Zay Flowers, I would have started him, but maybe I wouldn't have.
just the
Marvin
first.
Mims, I know you love Marvin Mims.
I love Marvin
Um,
Mims. Love me
Elijah
some Marvin Mims.
Moore. Elijah Moore, I think, is going to be great in Cleveland, even though I hate him. Laporta and Musgrave, two rookie tight ends, darts at a wall, right? Darts at a
Yep.
wall because in a 1 year league, these guys may or may not blow up. But
Right.
overall, Josh and Doug, what do we think this team is going to do? How do we think we're going to end the season here?
He doesn't exactly play in a juggernaut division, so Josh is always going to be in it. Um, I don't know though. There are obviously a couple of holes here, but I'm not going to trash this. I mean, he's coming off a championship where he dropped some picks.
I'm aiming for the
Like,
sixth seed.
yeah,
I just want to make the playoffs.
exactly. That's what this squad is, fighting me for the last spot, most likely around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, I just think the lack of a RB2 is going to
Yeah,
probably be your
I
Achilles
mean,
heel, and you
it's
need
pretty
to
obvious, but
probably figure that out sooner than later.
that's what happens in our league. Picks go, and then you're sitting
I,
there.
I agree with you, but I just need to see. I have a nice receiving core and tight
Yeah,
ends, and I'll see. I'll work it out. I always work it
yeah.
out.
All
I
right,
like it.
who we doing next?
I think we should just go straight to our
Matchup.
score, our matchup. Yes,
All righty, Mikey with a touchdown from Gibbs.
not quite, but should
Uh,
have had a touchdown.
big, the big brains from CBS give you a 52% chance,
That stuff
which,
never really works.
yeah, I mean, they also wanted everybody to draft Jared Goff in the first round. So where do you
Sure.
want to start?
Let's start with Mike. So obviously Josh Allen. I definitely do not want Mike to take him because he's awesome.
Yeah,
That was a great pick, and obviously you just keep him in every week, and he's going to give you top three,
set it
top
and
four.
forget it.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins. Listen, I got burned by him a few years ago, and he doesn't really. Lamar does not throw those running backs, but obviously he's got a lot of talent and a lot of skill, and I
What do
think
you
that's
guys think of the Ravens? They going to come out gangbusters here?
Well, I think Andrews being hurt is
Yeah, that
not
sucks.
great, but I do think that Todd Monken is a very well respected offensive coordinator. And I think, for the last 5 years of Lamar's career, he was under Greg Roman, who is a heavy run guy, Was it Greg? What was the guy? Is that who it was? Greg Roman?
Greg
I think
Roman.
so.
Yeah.
That's right.
So they were, heavy run. They really focused on Lamar running the ball, which is, it you can look at all the stuff in the media about Lamar and a big contract. That was the main reason they didn't want to give him a big contract because he's a small guy. He's taken a
Right.
lot of hits and he basically held himself out the end of last year because he wanted a new contract. And the Ravens realized, I think, kind of what you guys were saying about Daniel Jones. There was really no alternative. You had to pay
Yeah.
the guy, right? So they paid him. They brought in a guy. Now they're gonna try and let him go air raid a little bit more passing. They brought in Odell. They brought in Zay Flowers. They still got Mark Andrews. J.K. Dobbins is healthy, and I believe they got another receiver. Oh, they still got Rashawn Bateman there too, right?
Yeah, Bateman's hanging around.
They have
So
Duvernay. Duvernay
Oh
is
yeah,
not a
dude.
starter, but he's really athletic. He's a decent third, fourth wide receiver.
So they got some weapons now around Lamar. I think they paid Odell a shit ton of money to come in and be their number one. I don't agree with what they paid him, but I think he's got enough left in the tank and knows how. You don't think so? He was great when he played for LA 2 years ago and helped. I mean, that Super Bowl
Well, I
doesn't
mean
happen without
that's
Odell.
that's the thing. 2 years ago, and he's so fucking. We know OBJ.
I
I
think
wouldn't count on him.
I agree with Mike. They overpay them. I think all they need them to do is stay healthy and draw
Yeah,
coverage. If he can draw coverage,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
healthy. If Lamar stays healthy, and if Bateman, listen, if Bateman or OBJ stay healthy, and Flowers is who we think he is,
I think
and
Flowers is going to be the
yeah,
best wide receiver out of this rookie class.
yeah. I could see that. You know what I think of Beckham? Best case is sort of late career Deshaun Jackson, a dude who knows how to play, can stretch the field. I don't think he's
Really?
going to be the alpha guy.
I think
Really?
We'll see.
that's a pretty
I
good.
disagree. I
No, no,
totally. I think
especially in Lamar's offense, he's going to be the guy that Lamar takes shots with.
Yeah,
He's not getting fed the ball though.
I
I,
totally
I
disagree
could be
with
wrong.
you. I
Now,
think
now
Odell.
with Andrews out, maybe, but
I think Odell's going to catch. He's going to get targeted the most of all the receivers, not including if we're talking receivers, not tight ends, right? I think he's going to be your most targeted wide receiver on that team, and I think he's.
I'll take Zay because I'm bored.
I mean, that's fine. I think Zay's going to be. I think Zay's going to be the best wide receiver in that class this year. Like I said,
Yeah.
but I think Odell, 1 year, 18 million. He's going to get the ball targeted to him, and he's going to be that number one that I think Lamar is going to rely on. You know, part of the reason that they ran the offense they did for so long is they didn't really have any receivers. Bateman, you know, there was high hopes for him, but he hasn't proven anything. Can't stay healthy, and I liked him coming out of college. And then who's the Duvernay? Yeah, okay, he's a good slot guy, but I think Zay Flowers is the guy. I think that he will be the guy eventually, but not this year because he's gonna have to fucking get up to par. So I think Odell will have like 60 catches, 800 yards, and like 5 touchdowns.
But you
Yeah.
think
And I
that's
think
the number one
in
wide receiver?
Baltimore, I think. Well, no, I think Andrews will probably have 75 catches
If
and
Bateman
close to
stays
1,000
healthy,
yards.
no way. If Bateman stays healthy with Flowers, I think OBJ was brought in to give them some clout. I think he's going to spread the field just like Doug says. You send Odell deep, you draw him coverage. He only needs to catch a couple touchdowns, a couple bombs early in the season to draw safety and a corner. And once you do that, if Andrews is healthy, you have him in the middle, you have Zay Flowers, and you have Bateman. Like, come on. Like he was brought in and paid to help get other guys open. That's what I think. So
Good stuff. I like it. Hey, speaking of guys who haven't played, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, hey, dude, they downgraded his like points to like 5.5 projected, which whatever. I don't care about what CBS says, and now it's back up to 8.7. But I was like, what the heck is going on here?
Well, I mean, he hasn't been on the field since 2021, like
I
October.
love Ridley, and I wanted him for and Mike with
yeah. Again, though, like preseason thinking, we'll see.
He's young. Listen, I know he was off the field. He hadn't played for a year.
Yeah,
but man, that kid can play. He's so
he can. Yeah,
he's got.
He have some weird shit where he was like thinking about quitting though.
Yeah, he had some like depression type shit, and that's why. And I think he really just didn't want to be on the Falcons, who were tanking that year. And he was getting the ball thrown to him by like was it Matt
Mariota?
Ryan? Was it Matt Ryan's last year? Or was it
maybe Matt
I don't
Ryan's
know. It was
last
Matt
year.
Ryan's last year, and they were just he was like at the end of his career. I think they had just brought Arthur Smith in that year, and like Kyle Pitts was the number 1 pick, and then he gambled on a game.
He was gambling, yeah.
But it was so dumb, dude. Like it was so dumb, man.
By the way, that rule is ridiculous.
I mean, it is and it isn't, right? Because it's a slippery slope. If you
like, can I go 2 seconds without hearing about FanDuel? Fuck off.
I mean, I know it's the number 1 fucking sponsor, right?
Listen, all they have to do is not bet on the NFL. They play in the NFL. Don't bet on the NFL. It's that simple. Like, I don't think it's ridiculous.
These guys have a
hard
time.
You can't allow players to bet on the NFL that play in the NFL. You can't do
It's just so fucking two-faced, though. Just raking in all the cash.
Yep.
Okay. Well, listen, Ridley's great. We could go Mike Evans. Still going to be good. This is going to be his last in Tampa. And he's got a horrible quarterback, but he'll still put up 1,000 yards.
Woke up feeling dangerous.
That was my team name a couple years ago. I know where Doug's going with that. That was a bad year.
It was.
Or was that the year that I won the whole thing? No, that was 3 years ago.
No.
That was 3 years ago. That was
I always save that season in my back pocket if you ever come at me hard.
Yeah,
I have tied my fantasy team twice to a Cleveland Browns quarterback, and twice I have finished probably bottom 3 those years. So never
was
again.
It Derek Anderson or somebody?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
That was a great year. Derek Anderson and Braylon Edwards, double points all year, baby. Oh wait,
Derek, you got to stack.
Stinks. Oh God, that was coming off back-to-back championships, I believe, too. Oh, that's Derek Anderson.
2019,
no, it wasn't. It was before because Aaron Rodgers was the king and still is the king.
I should have traded you that 3rd round pick in Delaware.
Yeah, you were cheap. You were cheap.
I Kurt Warnered myself, and then
you didn't even fucking start the guy.
No. I benched Kurt Warner for his
the Warner Flacco conundrum.
Down game. It was great.
I'm gonna have that with Goff and Cousins this year, where I start the wrong guy every week. It's gonna be great.
Uh,
Can't wait.
Let's continue. Justin Jefferson is the
Yes.
best player in the league
Never heard of him.
and does the gritty better than anyone in the league.
He does.
That's nice.
yes.
Um,
He-
God,
Although
I
I'd
mean,
like
the-
to see Tibbs do it too. I want to compare. Kalen Thibodeau.
not with his outfit. What did
Are
he
we
call
mad
it?
about the Snow Angels with Nick Foles, or we think that's funny?
Which-
I think that ended Nick Foles' career. Maybe I'll try to bring the clip up, but when he sacked Nick Foles last year, and then like did Snow Angels, and Foles was like writhing,
Oh,
like
right.
like, injured, like they were both kind of like dancing on the ground at the same time. Anyway,
Poor sportsmanship. The quarterback might have been dying on the ground. And he's doing snow angels. It's like he's hyped up. He's not looking at him. He's doing snow angels with him. Let him have
yeah,
fun.
no, I am mad at him.
I think Mike's team is good, and I think Mike's team. I think
Yeah,
Goddard is good. Dalvin Cook, I think, will be even when Brees gets really healthy. I think Dalvin's going to be solid all year and start.
oh god, yeah, Dalvin. Yeah, I had no picks, but I was trying to find a way to get him on my roster.
And the Saints are a very good and
Yeah,
underrated.
they are. How many
So,
first round picks is on is this roster? 2?
2. Gibbs and Allen were first.
Yeah.
And then I think Dobbins was in the second round. And
It's a
then,
tough team.
I
It's-
don't know.
it's
I
not
got
the
some
best.
other guys down below.
It's a tough team.
It's a
It's
good
not-
team. I feel good
it's
about
not-
it, but
Terrifying, but it's a good team.
I think what you said, Doug, is probably where my head's at. Yeah, and Christian Watson is out. That's the one guy that
Yeah.
should be starting over Mike Evans.
All right, we didn't look at the bench here.
Connor was in the starting lineup, but
Yeah, you have some pieces here.
you said the team's old, and I think it's a very
Your team?
yeah,
Did I?
you did. I think.
Oh,
and
no,
I think,
no.
I don't think you're wrong.
No. I meant your other league team. It was brittle in that you can't afford any injuries.
Oh,
Not
my
old.
dynasty league. My
Yeah.
dynasty league is.
I was talking about that
I
one.
cannot afford any injuries.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, my bench I think has got some up and coming young guys, and
Oh,
then
dude,
I
yeah.
got Connor.
I like Johnson.
And I like Johnson too, but I want to see what he does before I start him. I like Kincaid, but I don't want to have to root for him and Josh Allen on Monday night. So
Plus, by the way, he kind of smacks of a guy who is overrated over the offseason.
Kincaid,
Yeah.
I really like Kincaid in that
At
offense
least this year.
because
You know what I mean?
they don't have a red zone guy. And they have Stephon Diggs, right? But besides Stephon Diggs, who gets doubled in the red zone, they don't have a red zone guy.
Knox.
Yeah, I mean, Knox is still getting snaps.
Dawson Knox, they're starting to.
Gabe Davis and Hardy are going to
I
be
think
on
Kincaid is a 6'6" guy that's going to line up in the slot and be a mismatch for linebackers. Dawson Knox is inline tight end that's more of a blocker than a receiver.
Yeah. I mean, the good news is he's getting the snaps, Kincaid is.
Mm-hmm.
At least
So
in
we'll
preseason.
see. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'll be proven wrong, but
I think
he was
long term he's going to be great.
So.
I'm sorry?
Dawson Knox is 6'4", 254, and he 2 years ago had 9 touchdowns and 6 last year.
Right.
I think Kincaid's great. I think Kincaid is better for Dynasty.
Yes.
I think he's great.
Well, this is
and
somewhat
by
of
the
a
way,
dynasty league.
Were you the one that sniped Kincaid on me last in Dynasty? No, that was Mark. Never mind.
No, I don't have Kincaid in dynasty.
Oh, you sniped Laporta on me.
I did.
I think.
That's who I have.
Hmm.
That is who I have. And let's take a look at Douglas's team real quick, and so we can wrap this up and get
Let's
ready
wrap
for
it
the
up.
real
But
days.
hey, speaking of Quentin Johnson, here's your segue. Look, I have a guy who's immediately going to get hurt. I've never owned him before. I'm so excited to get the
I had
hamstring
him
pull
last.
today.
I had him last year, dude. I had him last year. Last year was supposed to be his fucking breakout year, and the
Yep.
only thing that broke out was his ACL. He is literally questionable every fucking week.
And
I've been there with
another ACL.
Oh yeah,
Mike.
this guy. You know what? I will say Godwin right now is healthy.
Yeah.
And the Evans, they already said they're not going to pay him, so they're probably going to trade him before week 6, hopefully to the Jets. And then Godwin will be just a target monster for you if he can stay healthy.
I mean, he dropped to me in the 5th. I couldn't help it.
Because I drafted him last year as well, and he was fucking injured every week. I shouldn't have drafted him last year as high as I did.
Again, I'm just so glad we're playing again, right? And so let me back up though, up to Fields. So much has been said in the offseason about this guy, right? I
They
thought of a
have put everything around him to make him
yeah,
successful.
and before you go off on him, and feel free to, I thought of something when earlier when Josh was talking about Daniel Jones, and they're not like terribly dissimilar players. Obviously, Fields is a better runner, but it's not that much of a gap. What if all this hype we're giving Justin Fields in the offseason is actually we're the guy we're looking for is Daniel Jones? And I'll shut up.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think the difference is that Justin Fields rushed for 1,000 yards last year, right? And
What
Daniel
what did
Jones
Danny get? Like 700?
he had like
700.
650, something like that. But
708.
but Justin Fields was the difference is he's younger, he's more exciting. 1,000 yards, something for the NFL to hype up.
Oh yeah.
And he
Oh no,
had
I
and he
get
had
it.
he had literally had nothing. So this is the make or break year for him
Right.
because they have given DJ Moore full year now with Chase Claypool. And who's their other receiver? I'm missing someone.
They have Claypool, Mooney, and more.
They have Mooney.
Yeah.
Matt,
And now they have Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson,
And Foreman.
Kyle Komet, another year in the offense.
Kyle Komet sucks.
So
can I
he
say one thing?
fucking ruined my fucking fantasy year last year as well.
I have
Uh,
a pet peeve with media coverage and Justin Fields
Yeah.
because so often the media will just grab onto a narrative, which they've done with Justin,
Yeah. I know where
and
you're
like
going.
can't throw. And the thing is, like, is his windup are his mechanics great? No, but I can tell
he
you this:
has the longest release
in
in
college,
all of football.
in college, and in his last year, he was one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the country.
But
Yeah.
you got to pause for a second. He
That's why I was
played
making
at
the Jones
Ohio.
comparison, by the way.
He played at Ohio State, who had an NFL ready line. Pretty much everyone on their line got
Thank
drafted. The year that he came out, and he had three NFL
Yeah.
receivers that were first round picks. Dude, the only thing I'll say about Justin Fields, and I've said this since day one, and I didn't want him the year he came out because that was like I think that was the same year that Zach came out, and
Yeah.
everyone was comparing Justin to Zach and like why are the Jets not looking at Fields, and they did.
you.
And the thing I don't, and I'm not saying Zach was the right pick because he clearly wasn't. But the thing I'll say about Justin Fields that I don't like, and I still don't like, is his fucking release. It's like a fucking it's like goddamn Satchel Paige out there before he throws the ball. It takes him like 3 seconds to get rid of the ball. He does not have a quick release, and that's why he ends up running half the time because
Yeah.
he had nobody to
Well,
throw it
no
to
one was
because
getting open. Yeah.
no one was getting open, and I don't think his line
I,
was even NFL caliber last year. I think a lot of those things have changed, but he still has the longest release of any starting quarterback in the NFL. And you know who was number two? I'm pretty sure was Zach Wilson last year, and we saw how that worked out for him. And he can't run like Justin can run. So if they
Yeah.
can shorten his release and he can still be accurate and run like he runs, I think he can turn into a weapon. But until that happens, he's just a fucking guy that's running a
Who's the
lot.
coach there? Because we need that coach. I need that coach to be
E-
Dable over there.
Eberflus, Matt Eberflus.
Oh,
I don't know who
yeah.
their offensive coordinator
But
is,
like the
but
Nagy years were a disaster, and David Montgomery finally escaped, and he's shown a good player. I mean, who
I think,
knows? But
yeah,
what scares me to death about Fields is that kind of what you're saying, Mike. Like he has a hard time, or maybe they have a hard time getting open. But either way, he decides, oh, I'm going to just fucking ball, and then he'll run through the fucking center of the field. And a lot of times, last year, or not a lot, but a decent amount of times, it was like a 50-yard gain. But he also like snapped his ankle at the end of the game in Atlanta trying to do too much. And I just have a feeling he's going to get fucking banged up early this year. But of
I
course, I'm ever pessimistic. Like he's
listen.
going to try to do too much.
I think so. I just tried to defend Fields and then
Yeah.
and go against the narrative. I think Mike made a really good point. That'll make me reassess. You're right. Listen, at Ohio State, he had great receivers and he had time because he had a great line. Now his mechanics are terrible, but you even with good receivers, you still need to throw the ball accurately and throw
Yeah.
catchable balls, which he did.
he
So
does. He definitely throws an accurate catchable ball. It just takes him too long to get rid of it.
so then I can change my beliefs to him. On I think you're right. If the Chicago O line, which was not good last year,
Oh God, it's
and
never good.
he's dependent on their O line getting
Yeah.
better.
Yeah.
And if
If he has
can be
time.
better, can overachieve, then he'll be good. because if he gets time, he can throw the ball.
That's fair.
So,
Yeah, I think that you it's not a bad keeper. You kept him as your
No, I
one of
mean,
your later
I
keeps.
didn't have much
You
else
got
to work with, so
But if the guy does what you think he can do, and it's like a fucking high risk, high reward, if he plays the way you think he can
exactly.
play, dude, you got
Oh, it's a
yourself a
fun
stud.
play. It's a fun
Yeah,
play. I'm just like, I've been here before.
yeah.
Like
I
I had the same feeling about Trey Lance last year going in. Like, this is it. Let's go.
Trey.
Ouch.
But you got Gibson and he's basically taken over J.K. What the fuck was that guy?
Yeah.
J.D. McKissick. He's basically the third down back now in
Yeah, we'll
Washington,
see
so he's
how
going
it
to catch a
plays
lot of
out.
balls. Mixon is steady Eddie. You're going to
Gibson
get.
was a 7th rounder, by the way, just to put in context. I didn't have
I
my
mean,
first or third here.
If you want to trade me Gibson, let's go. I like
No. I like him. I like him.
I think it's a solid 3. I don't know if I'd be happy as my number 2, but
I
he's going to
also
catch a lot of
like.
balls
I watched
in
a
our
lot of.
league.
I watched a lot of B Rob last year, Brian Robinson, and like, he's tough. I don't really see it though.
he's not dynamic.
He's not dynamic. He was
No.
coming off 2 bullet holes in his leg
Yeah,
that he
I
came
mean, he
back
did get
from.
shot, which,
So
by the way,
let's give the kid
happened.
to this year.
Right.
Speaking of the day after I drafted him, he gets fucking.
I mean,
Popped.
I
He's
love
going to
this
be the
game.
first and second down back, and Gibson's going to be more of like a
We'll see.
third down back and a
Gibson
flex
has
out.
handled it all before.
I think Doug's biggest problem with Gibson here is Ron Rivera. I think Ron Rivera is
Yeah.
a terrible coach. They have a new offensive coordinator, so maybe Bieniemy is going to use Gibson more.
Yeah.
But Ron Rivera sucks. I don't
Yeah.
know why.
No, thank you. Gibson is the better football player.
He's not a good coach. He's basically after Mike McCarthy.
Oh, I know.
He's like, come on. He's
Please never fire these guys, Washington and Dallas, please. I love that Mike McCarthy's still employed. Keeps me going.
He stinks. He is the most overrated. But both of those, you know what?
Hear
Both
that,
those
Joe
guys have
Beningo?
done? They've gone to the Super Bowl. And
Who?
McCarthy won a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Man, one with Rodgers for a fucking decade plus.
I don't care. I don't care. You still.
I'm not impressed.
Dude, I haven't ever won a Super Bowl in my career of watching football. Whatever, man. Whatever. You guys are spoiled fucking Giant fans that we have 4, so only one is poo poo. And I only know what that feels like from a fantasy standpoint.
No, I know. I said only one with Aaron Rodgers is poo poo.
I know.
But that is Rivera, you have to admit that's poo poo.
It wasn't great, but he still did it. And Rivera took the Panthers to the Super Bowl. Did he take them twice? Was he the coach when Jake Delhomme was also the QB and they lost to
that was like Dom Capers or somebody, right?
Okay, I don't fucking know.
Ron Rivera was what, Minnesota before?
Can I say that Panthers Patriots Super Bowl, the first half was awesome. Oof. We've lost Mike.
Was it?
Yeah, Michael has gone mute on us.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike, you can't hear you. This might be our longest show ever, by the way. I love it.
That's cool. I'm glad we took the extra hour. Doug, I like your roster. Let me just tell you.
It's not bad for not having a first,
you're
right?
Fighting me for the 6th seed? I don't think so. I think you're arguably the 4th best team in the league.
Ooh, I'll take that, man. Here's the issue. My fucking division is hard.
Yeah, I don't suffer from that problem.
Yeah, you don't. This guy, maybe not, but have we looked at fucking what's his face? This guy,
dude, Dave, and your brother have two of the best. But Dave has an amazing roster outside of Madison.
Quietly, although that's, yeah, this is going to be trouble. Oh, look, he's got fucking Deontay on the bench.
Dude, he was gifted Bijan.
Yeah,
Madison,
he was.
Madison might be a poop factory, and then I have Chandler. I love Michael's still soiling himself. I love Garrett Wilson, Waller, if he stays healthy, Eckler,
right.
Come on, Herbert.
Yeah, dude.
Deontay Johnson's on his bench.
Right, exactly. He's fucking stacked.
Dude, stacked.
So here, let's take a look at EPO real quick. Actually, I don't. I kind of hate his running backs. Travis can ball.
Listen, if Tua can stay healthy, I think your brother has a
Oh, I
very
see. He's
dude. Allen, Diggs, and Dotson
yeah.
are arguably the best starting three in the league because I believe in Dotson.
Plus
And I
Andrews
think
when he's
Allen,
healthy.
Mike, we could see it. Maybe Mike, if Mike leaves the chat and comes back, are we going to get kicked?
I don't know. But I mean, we are in like the garbage time of the show anyway, so
We're wrapping
fucking
it up.
sucks though. Like what's going on? Yeah, we'll wrap it up. Well, Mike usually does this part, but Josh, thank you so much for joining us. Let's fucking go Giants tonight. I'm sure we'll be talking all day. Cheers,
Okay.
brother. Mikey,
Doug,
your team sucks. I'm kidding.
Doug, and Mike,
All the
stay on.
worst of luck to you.
Let's keep our thread going for the day. You know,
We
at
will.
least text back while we're going. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Hopefully, maybe I can come back after like week 4, quarter point of the season.
Whenever you want, buddy.
Something. This was a lot of fun, and I hope you guys have a good day, and I appreciate it.
And Via con Dios off season, right?
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's
Cheers.
fucking go.
Red zone.